Hello, this is Priscilla Batzel. I'm in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio. That's a 12 by 24 inch canvas I pre-primed with some Artist Loft White that I usually mix with GAC 800 and Floetrol. This is a fairly large pan that is made from a hard plastic lid from, I think, some kind of candy a long time ago. And I'm going to utilize it to make sure that I have enough paint. And I'm going to do a stage 1. That's Decor Americana 24 karat gold, which is slightly lighter viscosity. I'm going to use some Seaglass. I'm a Colour Arte affiliate, so this is Seaglass and it's a primary element. Midnight Shadow in there. Fandango is a Prizm pour, I think I said. I've got some black iris, I believe it might be. Yeah, it's black iris. I want something weird. I have something weird. I have plenty of weird things. I have a beautiful Harvest Moon. That's not really what I had in mind. That should have got shaken first, evidently. That needs to get used. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a plug in the tip, and there's no way to get paint out of a bottle with a plug in the tip. There we go. I want some of that very caramely red. And I think also, just because it's handy, some Acai berry. I might put some more gold back in there. What else have I got? I've got a brand new Misty Olive, which is a Prizm pour. I've got some beautiful browns, including Aztec bronze, which I absolutely love. And it's a large canvas, so I need a substantial amount of paint, pretty sure. Aztec bronze. Here's my chestnut brown. This is a primary element. Being called to, weirdly enough, some Prussian violets. No, it's indigo violet. Not Prussian violet. I'm wondering at what point in time I go back and add some more gold in. I have Silverleaf, which is a Prizm pour that's very turquoise and quite gorgeous. What I'd like to find is something, the VanDyke Brown. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. It's not in my favorite style of bottle, but it's still good, and hopefully, I'm thinking that this wintergreen I grabbed is also a good addition. So we're going to use that, and I'll have a quick look. I've got some Peacock, it's very green. Not to be confused with dark water. Oh yeah, no, I like that. So I'm thinking a little more Fandango and a little more gold. But let me look and see this Peacock first. Is that what it is? It is. And I'm glad I shook it. Very glad. I like the pan, actually. Oh, come on, don't be that way. Okay. Well, we got something out of the tip. And we got something on the canvas, which really shouldn't matter at all in a moment or two. So I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And add a little more gold. And some more Fandango. And if I need any other color, I have them all handy. Although I am being called rather immediately to some black raspberry, just because Hey, it's a because I can moment. I might be sorry. Oh, no, I'm okay. I thought I needed to shake that. Sometimes it's imperative, sometimes it's okay. Okay. So, I'm kind of figuring I'm just going to use a short edge catcher. Like some of those bottles, I forget, you know, that the 12 by 24 inch canvases are rather encompassing, so it's a good day. Oh, you know what? I've got green tea, and I love green tea. Take the little tab out of the top. Let me take the top right off the container. Throw a little bit of that right in there. I'll worry about that later. I had some Payne's Gray. I still have some Payne's Gray. I know, I'm a color junkie, for sure, for sure, for sure. Get a few things out of the way, if I can. No paint chips. And I'll let that flow down. And over, and maybe I'll put a little more paint in. Now, I might be making a mess. I usually try and avoid a mess as much as possible. But I might be making a mess because I'm going to flow this paint down if it's willing. This is just a flow aid. But I'd like to get as close to the end as possible, but it doesn't matter really because I'm going to be flowing a whole lot of paint, I think. I might want to get out my OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula, or even maybe a Princeton Art Tool Kettle spatula, both available on my Amazon link. Alright, do I go from the side, or do I go up and down? Or do I go some other way? I'm really thinking I want to go some other way, which would imply a long stretch to my tool caddy and a swing of the turntable, evidently. Because being a rather large container, there's still a copious amount of paint left in there. Probably more paint than I'm used to using, but I think the colors are fabulous. I hope it turns out nicely. And it is only stage 1. I'll be letting it dry overnight. I hate wasting paint. I really do. No other way to put it. So I got all the way to the edge on one end. I should just leave this and drip off into it. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go a little bit at a time. Try and balance this whole process. See how little paint I can lose. I have a whole lot of bubbles over here and I really want to get rid of them. But before that happens, I'm going to flow some of that white paint off and probably some of that gold paint off as well. Can always put it back in. Not that it's going to be as easy as it would be if I use a different receptacle. I'm not impressed so far. I'm just going to keep tipping it back and forth until I like what I've got. I hope it winds up looking like something. Alright, it doesn't look like much of anything, but it's still interesting colors. But they are supposed to be landscape colors, and they really aren't striking me as landscape colors yet. And I see that rather large thing, and I hope that it won't be a problem if I just use my fingers to drag that. So I'm going to just keep on. I'm going to really wish that I had some tweezers. And I'm not seeing any. I am seeing some. Cool. First of all, I want to know if there's anything left of that. And there was a whole bunch of stuff I just saw. I'm not seeing any. That's a bubble. Bubbles and objects will often, I'm going down this way, will often create things that trail marks. Let's see if I have enough control to control my drip. I know I can always fill it in. I have the same problem down here. I have a big gap. And really, you'd be way better off, in my opinion anyway, just messing with it with your finger. I'm still hoping it'll go to the bottom, but I'm not sure what the point is. I'm going to have to make it into a landscape one way or the other. And I do have all this beautiful paint that I could definitely go back and forth and use. I could also cover it with some Glad Press and Seal for the night. Alright, let's go back to tipping down. Unusual colors for me unless they're in a landscape. I'm wondering what is leading that little line. That's a bubble. So, what am I going to scoop this up with? I have my small OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula, and the painting for all intents and purposes is upside down right now. Since I'm unsure about what my feelings are actually, it's okay to do whatever I feel like at this moment. Which includes taking some paint right out of the pan. I forgot there was white in the bottom there, which can sometimes be a little bit problematic. Once I do this, I'll probably want to tip back up in the other direction. Should not have dribbled. This is a highly unusual activity. And maybe it was more paint than I was ready for. Alright, so I like unusual things, so I'm still embracing whatever's coming. I've got a Princeton Art Catalyst spatula with a little bit of paint that needs to be used up on it before it starts to dry. And I've got spots I want to get rid of. What? I forgot about the white. truly did. I've got paint on my silicone mat that I'm probably going to want to take off as well. I want to blow that one mark right down over the edge. I'm going to take my silicone omelet turning, OXO omelet turning flip and float spatula and take every bit of paint that's coming off the edge. I've got 2 minutes, and if that timer goes off, then we're very done. I'm not sure what any of that looks like, but I definitely am sure that I need to use a torch. And I also think I want all of this paint that is now on my foot. Alright, I didn't expect that to be dripping like that. I am making the mess I promised myself I was going to make. I shouldn't have done that. Well, it's a big old cliff. And at this point I'm going to leave you so it's a cliffhanger. I suppose I could put some ocean in there. Kind of want to put some more of this back in. God knows what it's going to dry like. I kind of want to uneven the horizon line, which is going to be challenging when I go to put my sky in. But I think I'm up to the task. I have a blurb. That's got to go. Maybe I can put a bluff or two up there. Yeah, I can do that. Looks like a desert now. Well, you're going to be gone in a second, so I'll say I'll see you in a second. Right now. Okay, so here I am back, and there's been a small disaster. And it looks like my cat jumped into the painting. I figured it out because I found a whole bunch of cat hairs stuck to the place around the hole. I'm glad I primed the canvas first. I'm going to show you what I used. You could probably find something better. This is matte gel medium. This is a Master's Touch product I got a long time ago at Hobby Lobby. And in fact, such a long time ago that the last time I used it, I'm not sure I sealed it as correctly as I would like to. But it still seems to be pretty viable. So I don't know why I got some crazing, but a lot of times the artist loft underpainting is the issue with that. I'm going to take almost everything off I put on. But mostly I just want to fill that hole. And then I'm going to find my tweezers and pull out some cat hairs, because they're definitely there. But I don't think you need to see that. So I had a little bit of roughness, and I wanted to show you. It's a pretty precarious process, but if you stick your finger up underneath the canvas and then you slide a very sharp blade along very cautiously, which is what I did over here, to take away the roughed up edge. I mean, I know it was the cat because I found a painty cat footprint on the floor underneath my restaurant rack, which is what I dry on. But the nice thing about this is I think you can paint over it pretty much almost immediately. Once I get those cat hairs out of that, I'll probably do that. But I don't want to see any more canvasy texture. And what I was saying was, it doesn't shrink, or it doesn't seem to shrink. So even if you dry it, even if you use it immediately, it's going to be almost the same difference. Now I have a Q-tip and I'm going to use it by dipping it in a little water. Just clean up anything around the edge. And of course it's a weird shape like a boulder, so no problem. Now if these crazings were deeper, and they're not, they're so small, you could smooth some of this matte gel medium into them, and then they wouldn't show when you add paint over the top. But I really don't think if I add paint over the top, and I'm planning on doing so, that they will show anyway. I might have the tiniest amount of roughness. Now the important thing when you put this away is the fact that it has a lid that fits inside the lid that you want to make sure is well sealed, which I did not, and I was lucky that it didn't dry out. Anyway, so I'll be back at some future point fairly shortly, like in a second for you, and I'll continue to work on this and figure out what the next stage is. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here, but I've got colors that are still viable from day before yesterday because I used the Glad Press and Seal and made sure it was tight. They're flowing easily. You can see them move back and forth if you look. And I'm gonna use that as a base and put a little bit of green tea in one area. I don't know why this one's so tough.
You talking to me?
I am recording a video.
Okay, sorry.
And so I'm going to definitely dip right in there and see what happens if I try and camouflage some of those little pieces of white that I'm not sure I'm in love with. But I am going to use some more colors on top of this paint in this dish and put them down on the canvas and swipe with a small acetate tool. And I think I'm just going to pour right over that, although my inclination is to put some paint there right now just because it's only been 10 or 15 minutes since I did that. Now what else have I got? I've got the saffron and the Mayan gold. And I figure everything and anything that I put in here is viable. And I'm not sure that that's the right exact color, but I am pretty sure that if it isn't that, it's the warm caramel. And they're of the same family. Well, they don't look very much that way in that example. But I've got a little tiny paintball skewer. I mean, it's the tiniest little paintball. It's just so it's not sharp. And I'm pretty sure that if I want something to go away bad enough, I'm going to use the Indigo Violet. I'm not sure what color this purple is. It looks like deep amethyst, but it was 3 days ago, and my memory is not such that I can tell you what I painted 3 days ago, unfortunately. But since I believe that this color goes with that color, and I might not want to take out all of that color pervasively because I kind of like it where it's at. I wasn't sure I was going to like this at first, but I like the horizon line across the top a lot. That's that crazing that I fixed. Yeah, that's not bothering me a bit. Just enough paint on that paintball. And the thing about a dry painting is when you put paint on it that's not heavy after that, It's not, it doesn't take long to dry. Or not in my experience anyway, but I am also in Florida in an air-conditioned house. So I kind of feel like even if I just get close and camouflage some of these colors, that's okay with me. Because I still don't know exactly where I'm going to pour my paint. But I know I'm not a huge fan of all this crazing. And it's so slight, you can't feel it when you touch it. And I'm just going to get rid of the worst. And even if it's still a light color when I touch it up, as long as it's not white, I'm going to put some more of that indigo violet in there. I thought I was going to use some of the black iris, but no. And I'm kind of getting used to this, but I think I'm still going to add a little bit of something over it, which to my mind right at the moment would be the saffron and Mayan gold. So I'm just rubbing that ever so slightly in with the edge of my finger. And it seems to be working pretty well. And I like the contrast. And usually whatever color you have will dry a little darker. But it's just adding something different. I'm not sure what this green is, but I have some Peacock and I think that might be it. So we'll try that. I think that is it. And if I want it a little darker, I'll just mix a little indigo violet. I could dot along. Just trying to fill those cracks. I think that's a lot better. So this paint is viable enough for me to take it and stick it down there for a moment while I make an attempt. I'm just going to take a couple of drops, come on drop, of the saffron Mayan gold and put a little bit of Mayan gold with it. I think it looks a lot better than it did, so. And like I said, anything I don't like, if I leave behind any raised areas and I don't like them, I'll just add another color quickly. Or that'll be the place that I swipe, which is not unlikely. Now, if you have a ridge along the edge, you're probably going to see it, so use a little bit less paint than I did. Start with less, work your way to more if you need to. I'm going to snag a little bit of that green. And if the colors are being mixed together, that's not a bad thing. That's more likely to camouflage. I've got a little bit, I want some of this right along in there. A lot of that white is gone. Yes, I'm finger painting. I'm not sure what to do about this one. I know I have some. I'm just going to indigo violet. No, I'm not. I'm not sure. I think it must be black raspberry. And I have some of that. Unfortunately, unless I shake it. Oh, it worked out okay. So I'll just put that on my silicone mat. Put a few dots so there's not going to be a ridge or an overabundance. And even if it's not the right color, if I see another spot, I might use it anyway. On any of the little crazings. Now I want some more green, so I'm going to go for the green. That was the green tea, just directly on the canvas, without the paint chip stuck under my fingernail. It's an experiment. I don't think I've ever had to do quite this much of it before. I have done it in the past. I don't think I've shared it with anyone. It's something about the Artist Loft White, so I'm thinking better to use the Amsterdam. Now what about that green? Ah, I left green there for that exact purpose. Now as long as it's smooth when you rub it in, it'll dry smooth. And there's not actually any crazing right there, so there's nothing to rub it into. Which makes it actually more difficult as opposed to less. Because getting a smooth layer is sort of imperative. I don't mind any of that. Alright, let me think about this. I'm going to use some triple sec, which is a Prizm pour. I am if it'll come out. There we go. It's not really coming out. It's definitely time to mix some more. And I definitely want to use both the Indigo Violet. I kind of want to use all the same colors again, actually. And especially, oh, this is Payne's Gray, which I believe was, I'm not sure if it was a Prizm pour or a Vivid Intense. In any case, it's pretty strong, so I'm going to top it up with a little bit more Aztec gold. And I'm going to be brazen and brave. This is a pep talk for myself right now. Because I'm not feeling either but one of those things. Exactly. But I do want to try some stuff. So I'm just going to take what I've got in all its weird colors and think of it as a spatula applied shovel pour. Basically transfer. Gesundheit. The pollen is horrible right now. Kind of like that, actually. And I need to leave it a little thick if I want to do any kind of swiping at all. And I kind of want to try some of that right down here. So why don't we do that before time gets away from us. Right now, I've got a little acetate tool. If I forget to include the link, just ask me. Now I've got gold, which is Pebeo Iridescent and Atelier Rich mixed with Australian Floetrol. I've got Amsterdam White and Australian Floetrol. And a little bit of black. Oh, which really came out a lot more intensely than I anticipated. I got a few cells. I want to put some more black in there. But the white is what's showing up. I'm putting it right in. Now the white usually dissipates, so even if I see a whole lot of it, unless it's an ocean theme. Let's try that again. I want some darker green in there. So I'm going to put some more of that Peacock right there. That's not really enough paint, but I think I can add enough paint to make it enough paint. I can see cat hair stuck to my paint pan. Go away, cat hair. Although it could be dog hair because it's kind of crinkly, which is unusual. They work in tandem to sabotage me. They're good friends. I'm kind of liking the weirdness of this. I think I'm going to keep going. I can always add more colors. And I was thinking it would be nice to separate some areas. Make them look like more topographically accurate weirdness. Oh, that was good. There was some blue in there. If I like it enough, I won't even bother. I like those little lumps of color. I wasn't sure I would. I thought I was going to swipe in there, but I'm not sure anymore. But it's the perfect thing to put in any place that's confusing. Maybe some of that over here. I'll put a whole bunch more cell activator. If my paint is heavy enough, I expect cells. I don't always get what I expect, but I live in hope. And I definitely love the contrast. Not sure what that is. Yeah, that's neat. That one's a weird one. I'm not sure about that. Little zone. And I'm running out of paint quickly. But I like how the colors go around here. So I'm going to do something about that right now. As long as I can find. There we go. I'm going to experiment. Kind of wish I had my purple, but I haven't had any purple in quite a while. I like the marbling down there a lot. Time for some more. Wipe off my excess in a place that needs it. I'm inclined to use the black and the gold together. This is going to be one god-awful long video because I haven't done the sky and I'm not sure what's going to happen with trees. And I've always wanted to have a painting in this state so that I had an excuse to do exactly what I'm doing, which is really mess around by adding a bunch of new layers. I kind of think I want to add the rest of my paint before it becomes glop. It's holding up really well, I'm surprised. I'm inclined to put some more color in there. Wow. Alright. Well, unfortunately, I've got to stop in a minute and start again if I'm going to. I really want some, did I hide it? I want to use some of the saffron Mayan gold, and I could put it on my spatula, on my silicone tool. It's not either one of those things. It's an acetate tool. Yeah, I'm distracted. When that timer goes off, I'll stop and come back. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm so wishing I had some purple. I suppose I could just use the Boom Gel. I didn't think of that until right now. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. I should check and make sure I'm still recording. I am. Good. Oh, we should focus. It's not focusing on anything. Wow. Well, hopefully that'll be something. Alright, I've looked at this for a second, and I really think that I'd want some more Mayan gold. Not squeezing anymore, I'm just letting the dribble trail out. And I kind of like that. Enough to maybe want to do it again over here. Not sure what it signifies, but it's a very impressionist landscape, which is actually a fantasy-scape anyway, so hardly matters. I'm going to use my already schmutzed up spatula to modify it just ever so slightly. I shouldn't have to do much of that down here because honestly I still had the plan of touching it up with some swiping. I'm not sure about that. That can go somewhere else. That's a good place for somewhere else. I'm kind of liking it. It's not going to keep me from wanting to add some more cell activator. But I definitely like the idea of the warm caramel, I guess. And it is looking more like it has some dimension and some layers, which I definitely like. I might have to do this more than once. I think I like some white in there. Because I'm not seeing any. And I'd still like some purple. And do I have it out? Or indigo violet? Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of some rocky outcroppings in the foreground. I found a cat hair, yay! Or whatever hair. An animal hair. From the Conspiratory 2. Yes, I'm just leading my acetate tool down through, looking to see if there's any more places, and there are. We're right on the road, so if you hear talking, that's somebody probably walking and using their cell phone at the same time. I was going to swipe all of this, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again. Alright, I'm going to get that out of here. Let's see what happens. What else I want to color in there? I want the Aztec bronze, or no, I'm going to take the Payne's gray. Not that it's coming out very well. It looks very black there. It's not usually very black. Let's use some of the... I just saw something drop in my painting. I got to get that out of there. I find these little bottle tips that I take off the closed up bottles. Alright, so I've got cell activator here, and I'm going to use it. I have a few bubbles, so I'm going to have to fix those. But otherwise, I think we've gotten rid of the vast majority of the crazing and added some dimension. It's kind of fun. And so I'm going to, I see I've got stuff down here I need to do. It's maybe not as important as I made it out to be, because even though there's some crazing there, it's really kind of a cool texture. I'm liking all of this now. Way more than I did. I'm going to clean up and I'll be back. Hello. I'm back. This is not dry, but I still want to work on it. And I'm going to take a risk and use some Vivid Intense White. And I'm going to use a paintbrush and some more colors from Colourarte. I'm going to go halfway across. I'm going to dampen a brush. It's a highly unusual activity. Dampen it and squeeze it out. I have a smaller brush that I'll probably use to go across. I wanted to see how far the paint would go, or if it would go. It's mixed with Floetrol, a GAC 800, and I just want a wet, a dampened surface, so I can add some yellows, because that's what I've chosen for my sky color. Might as well go the rest of the way. And the canvas is pre-primed, as you remember, hopefully, as I remember. And I don't mind a white horizon. But this is the first time I've held a paintbrush in a long time. I used to do some sign painting, and I almost did that again the other day, so I got them out. So as long as they're out, and I have quite a few. I think I inherited 300 or 400 from my parents. Alright, so the brush was not very wet. And it occurs to me I can always scrape along this edge because this edge is dry. There's no wet paint up here. I've got a Q-tip too. And we might as well just find out. I was going to use some shiny taffeta, but I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to use some Hansa Yellow that I added a little Pearly Orange. Hansa Yellow is a Vivid Intense. Pearly Orange is a Prizm Pour. They're very similar to the Indian Yellow. If I don't like the way it looks, I'm going to have to do something else. But I basically just want a stain in the sky because I like the idea that the greens will be imitated by the yellow in the sky. And I really want to turn this around. I'm nervous about working over the painting itself, but that's not bothering me. I thought I might put some Burmese red and maybe a little deep crimson in the sky. I tried it briefly beforehand. That's the shiny taffeta. And I'm going to try and use a spatula because that's what I'm used to and that's what I like. And it shouldn't be, there shouldn't be any hard lines right now because I got my background white on. Hopefully I didn't use too much. I might have. But it's still damp enough so I could actually pull it all off if I wanted to. I could even wipe it off if I wanted to. Let's get rid of that brush. I've got a container to keep the bristles moist, so that'll keep it from drying. I think what I'm going to do is use my excess right along the top and the edge. Just sort of smooth that into place for a moment. I don't think it has to be anything serious. I might want to camouflage that spot. I got a spot of green on there. If I wind up with a little bit more, that'll be okay. I can put it on the other side. The reason it comes off so easily is because I did pre-prime the canvas, like I said. Now I thought I might use a little bit of white and add the crimson. Deep crimson turned a beautiful color of magenta, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And I've got paper towels standing by, or at least they're across the room if worst case scenario. Maybe I'll grab, no, I got damp paper towels standing by. So let's just do that. I'm going to leave the little bit of yellow that's on there. Now I know I could probably do this with the pink and it would be safer, but this is what I want to try and do. Just a little dribble. I think I'm using these colors because they remind me of what's in the bottom. Light touch. Hope for the best. I've got another color purple. What is it? It's the Burmese red I was talking about. Even if I don't put it across the whole sky, it'd still be kind of cool. I don't want to take too long because it's a pretty thin coating. I'm interested in playing with it a little. I might use a little bit of frosted berry after all. think I have a window of opportunity. I'm not sure. I just got to be so careful not to damage the bottom half. And I still want to try that other color. I don't mind that. Gotta remember, I can actually go to the horizon line if I want to, because I've got a Q-tip if I go over. I don't really want a lot of canvas showing, texture showing up. I want some bottles out of the way right now. What does it feel like to want? I'm a little tight on space, as I may have mentioned in the past. I don't need that Hansa yellow anymore. There's a possibility I might want to bring back the yellow, but I don't think so. This feels really, really risky. This is the Burmese red. You know what? I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to take that risk. I'm going to use some of the frosted berry and maybe even try some of the Love You Pink. If I can get something, thank you, to come out. The Love You Pink is a Primary Element. Come on. Getting low on everything, I guess. I like cloud drama. I love trying new things, especially when they work, or when I think they work. Kind of wonder about trying to put a little bit of yellow in again, but I like what I have. Scrape off my spatula and put it over the edge. That might be done. So I got to tell you guys I love you, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm really happy that some of you have listened to me very nicely. Thank you very much, and watched the videos longer, because I can tell from the number of minutes that are watched. And I really appreciate you watching longer, because it is the only thing that the algorithm at YouTube responds to. I don't know, it's kind of a fussy sky now that I look at it, but I don't mind it that much. I'm gonna hope that I get used to it. I'm hoping the Love You Pink will come down again too. I think it'll add a little bit of, it'll add some highlights and maybe a little bit of dimension. I'm still really curious about adding some more shiny taffeta. This is going to be a little more textured than I anticipated, but it will help cover any canvas that I was not enjoying the look of. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure a lot of times, so we'll be able to tell tomorrow. the little fingerful. Wipe it right along the edge. Oh, that was bad. That was really bad. I'll cover it up again. I still want to try some yellow. I don't know why. It's already so busy. Let's do it anyway. I kind of don't mind that. It doesn't turn gray too quickly, which is nice. Let's do a little more. Kind of like the white over here at the horizon. I might put a little more white over there. I really don't mind if there's a little schmutz on my spatula that's all the same colors I'm using. Alright, where was I? I was telling you guys I have 33, actually 34 playlists, but 33 of them you can watch. I like the yellow with the purple. It's pretty wild. And I kind of like the idea of Love You Pink being a light color, but I think I'm going with the white. And then if I have any on my spatula that I don't want there, other than to fill in that little gap I see, yeah, I kind of really like that as a potential puffy clouds. I'm going to put some right on my spatula. If I hadn't closed it, it would have helped. We'll see. We'll see if I like this tomorrow. Yeah, I like the white. Especially in the canvasy spots. So a little bit more and I'll be calling good. I think it really added a lot, actually. Almost stuck my hand in the painting. That's a pretty interesting sky. I'm not sure it's the perfect sky for this painting, but it's a perfect sky for some painting. And maybe tomorrow I'll change my mind. I'll ask my husband. He'll tell me the truth. Well, he'll tell me his version of the truth. Oh, sorry about my head. Alright, that's it. Must be a shimmer test I really like, and I think I might be improving as far as getting clouds to look more like the clouds I'm interested in. I need a photograph. No, I don't. I need a flashlight app. Yeah, I'm liking that. Looks like my battery says it's going to die again, which is really strange because I just put it in there. But no, I love you guys. Ooh, that's pretty. Wow. Yes, I'm going to love this tomorrow. Honestly. Please give me a thumbs up. When you like and share my videos, you help me out. Watching longer, you know about that. My paint pouring recipes below show more. My email address, should you want to reach me about purchasing an artwork or a class at the house in Spring Hill, Florida, is easpbgallery. And the word gallery spelled out at gmail.com. Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links are all on the link tree, along with a couple of my websites. My Amazon link is a place on the link tree that you can find my 2 books, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities are the first and the second 100 videos I made for YouTube that are still relevant. Questions are welcome and encouraged. My community board will show you tomorrow's video. Should you need a playlist, please don't hesitate to ask. I also organized everything by topic and genre. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. This was a really long video, but who knew the cat was going to step in it? Anyway, whatever I've missed, you'll see in another video. I love you all. And don't forget, I give lessons at the house in Spring Hill, Florida. And I'll see you anon. Bye for now. Priscilla out.